Dauntless is a game in which your primary goal is to kill monsters, referred to as behemoths. The core loop of gameplay as of Dauntless Reforged is to kill monsters to gain weapon experience in order to bring your weapon from level 1 to level 20. Once you've hit level 20, you can reforge the weapon class, resetting yourself back to level 1 but gaining an Aether Heart, allowing you to permanently upgrade a piece of your gear. And then you keep killing more behemoths to get your weapon level back to 20 and repeat the process. But what if you were to take away the behemoths from this equation? Can you reach max weapon level in Dauntless without killing a behemoth? Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, and welcome to the channel. I really don't know what's with me and having ideas that will take 8 or more hours to complete at these subscriber milestones, but thank you guys once again for 5k and hopefully some more Ks to come. And if you yourself are not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel, particularly if you enjoy the game of Dauntless. I post Dauntless content here every week. So when we're talking about gaining experience in Dauntless, killing behemoths is the main way to do so. But there are some other means through which we can gain weapon experience. If we're in an escalation, having our teammates kill the behemoths for us will give us experience. However, that would be a really lame way to go about it, since it would be still gaining experience from behemoths dying. We can complete bounties, and maybe I'll do another video along those lines in the future, and our last option is killing fauna. The little creatures of the world being Styxians, grooks, mollusks, aka snails or garries, and the various Boreas minions all give a small payout of experience upon killing them. And this was going to be the method through which I chose to gain experience for this reforge. Think of it as a bit of a revenge arc for all of the times these things have gotten me killed, the recent ones being the shock snails in the Carback trials and the grooks literally everywhere. I didn't do a whole lot of planning on what fauna and where would be the most efficient to gain experience from. I already knew that there were quite a few fauna spawns on Cape Fury, and I did a quick run through to make sure of where the things were. With there being 3 spawn locations of the Boreas stalker minions, those being the easiest of these creatures to gain experience from, I was already pretty certain this was the place to be. So I went ahead and reforged my chain blades and hopped onto the island. My initial thoughts were that I should try to optimize going straight for each stalker spawn, and I might as well kill the snails that were nearby these spawns as well. I thought that going to grab any other fauna would be too much of a time investment for their experience payout because stalkers spawn in the highest of numbers. And some part of my stupid brain thought that maybe I would be able to get this done relatively close to actually killing behemoths. What a fool I was. So my initial route for the Cape Fury fauna looked like this. I would instantly go to the back of the island, to a shock snail spawn, and then to the stalker minion spawn next to it. After this, I would take a vent and glide to the middle spawn of the stalker minions, then kill the snails next to them. Then I would run to the final stalker minion spawn and run over a couple of ridges to get to the final shock snail spawn. Then I would just repeat the route. A nice thing was I could spend the entire time on the same island, since as long as someone else didn't run by the spawns, they would be refreshed and available for me to kill. After one run through of the route, I had 165 experience, which took me 3.5 minutes to do. With this amount of time, I would be almost at level 3 by now if I was doing an escalation. And if that takes a few hours without bounties to do, you might be able to guess where this was going. One of the tech things I would end up doing is to make sure I was always below 50% HP, since the build I was running was using the Thrax chain blades, since this can be helpful for platforming in certain farming routes. Meaning I had the Rift Stalker bond, which would give me a little bit of extra attack speed. At the start of the 3rd rotation through, I leveled up for the first time, 7 minutes and 22 seconds in. After that, I started experimenting with this other vent, but I quickly realized this was indeed not the play and wasted about a minute of my time there. Though one might say this entire endeavor was a waste of time, and we're grabbing at straws here. Something cool, if I had the RNG go right for me, was being able to double or triple kill the shock snails with a Reaper's Dance heavy attack if they spawned close enough together. Was it faster? Probably not, but it was a safe way of killing them if I was already below half HP. 16.5 minutes in, I reached level 3, and we're a full 12 minutes behind actually fighting behemoths at this point. And keep in mind, these are the fastest levels to do. Around 22 minutes in, I had my first run-in with someone else running by the fauna spawns. This doesn't sound bad, but this took away 11 fauna kills, meaning 55 experience. I liked Cape Fury because of how many fauna spawns there were, but the stalker and snail spawn in the middle are perhaps a bit too obvious. 29 minutes in, I reached level 4. If you can recall, in my 2-hour reforge speedrun, this amount of experience can be gained in less than 5 minutes if you're able to claim bounties. 45 minutes in, I reached level 5, and I think in my head I didn't realize until about now how actually slow and tedious this was. Something that could have sped me up a little bit was going into a Boreas fight, but I wanted to avoid the combat zones as much as I could, just to make sure that I wouldn't accidentally gain experience from a behemoth in some stupid way. I didn't do this all in one sitting. Around an hour in, I decided to take a bit of a break because I became aware of how long this would take, and I was already getting hungry. When I got back, I powered through some more leveling, and at the 1 hour 55 minute mark, I have the revelation. It's interesting the things you can learn about the potential optimizations for such a meaningless task. So I thought, since it was clear that you guys despise Grooks, that you would want to see some getting killed in this video. Some vigilante justice perhaps. Just before the snail spawn at the beginning of the route, there's a Grook spawn below that, so I decided to dip in there for an extra 20 experience. And the next lap after that, I added on an additional Grook spawn to the route. And as you might expect, one of the Grooks immediately floored me. Grooks are the true end boss of Dauntless, as we can all agree. But Grooks do have a value when doing this, and it's that they can be spawn camped. The various forms of fauna tend to flash on the map momentarily when they go to first spawn. Using this, I could see where the Grooks were about to pop up out of the ground, being able to take care of them before they could do an attack. Additionally, adding the second Grook spawn to the route made for an optimization elsewhere, where on the middle of the island spawn for the shock snails and the stalkers, I could run by the shock snails, run by the stalkers, then kill the shock snails, then kill the stalkers. This saved a bit of the waiting time for their animations to pop up and fly down. 2 hours and 8 minutes in, I reached level 9, and once I hit level 10, 2 hours and 30 minutes in, I took another break. If I recall correctly, I had to pee really bad, and this was a milestone of being figuratively halfway through the challenge. But as you might expect, going from level 1 to level 10 is much faster than going from level 10 to level 20. But with the Grook additions and the other optimizations made, I was still running roughly 25 minutes per level at this point. Along the way, during this next play session, I realized I could add a spitter spawn onto the route without wasting much time, since I could run past them, run to the snails next to them, then kill the spitters, then kill the snails. Around the 3-hour mark, I was thinking, dang, I really actually have to finish this that day because I would probably need to have my chain blades leveled up for trial carries on Thursday. Thankfully I did, because we ended up with so many people needing help. 4 hours and 44 minutes in, I reached level 15, the end being in sight but not really being all that close. Once I was about halfway through level 15 is when I started to learn some things about how fauna experience works. So with fauna you can gain anywhere between 1 and 5 experience. All of a sudden during level 15 I started gaining 4 experience per kill instead of 5. But then a little while later I started gaining 5 experience per kill again. And once I hit level 16 it went back to 4 experience per kill, and at one point a little while later it dropped down to 3 per kill. It turns out that the fauna experience gain is affected by the level and star rating of the last killed behemoth on the island, whether or not you were involved in the fight. I'm pretty sure it's related to both of these variables and not just one, as it just depends on whether or not the behemoth is figuratively stronger than you. For example, a level 19 5-star Rezakuri is still figuratively stronger than you when you're at level 19, but a level 14 3-star Nezaga is figuratively weaker than you when you're at level 14. At this point, I contemplated whether or not it would be better for me to abandon Cape Fury, since getting 3 experience per kill at some points could be worse than getting 5 experience per kill with less spawns on an island. But at least for the time being, I thought if I could stay at 4 per kill on Cape Fury for the most part, it would be the way to go. I figure if I dropped to 3 per kill, I could re-queue for another island that would be able to get me to 4 per kill for a while. This was my strategy until reaching level 18, where I would permanently be at 3 experience per kill or less so I moved on to Razorcliff Isle after a small break. My route for Razorcliff Isle was to only kill a few of the fauna that spawned on the left side of the map, then use the help my character is stuck button to teleport back to the beginning and just loop killing these same fauna. At some point in the level 18 grind, I had been left alone on the island, which is unfortunate since the people who left last killed a behemoth that made fauna only gave me 4 experience per kill when it's possible I could have had 5 experience per kill on this island. But I enjoyed the peace and quiet for a while, but once I hit level 19 where I was starting to gain 3 experience per kill, I decided that I should move on to another instance of Razorcliff Isle since I would potentially be able to get 4 or 5 experience. And I employed a similar strategy of queuing for a new instance if my experience gain ever dropped to 3 per kill. And 7 hours, 52 minutes, and 13 seconds later, I had reached level 20, reaching max weapon level in Dauntless without killing any behemoths. I hope you guys enjoyed this pretty pointless test of my patience. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like on the video. And if you enjoyed the game of Dauntless, consider subscribing to the channel. I post Dauntless content here every week. And to stay up to date with my content on both YouTube and Twitch in the best way possible, as well as potential Hunt Pass giveaways, join the Discord server in the description. I manually post when I upload a video or start up a hangout. I have been Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, and I will catch you guys next time.